Thank you for coming today. I am just pulling up the document. One moment. Sorry, I'm a little behind. My cat was sitting on me, so I'm running late from lunch. But I will be up to speed in just a moment. Thanks, everybody, for coming today. Where am I going? General plan. This is a virtual meeting for the Shoreline Local Area Plan. And where we left off, we are starting on the goals or objectives, policies, and implementation document. Why do I have two? One moment. Read stop.
Sorry, I was just trying to turn off the meeting recording. I don't know why that keeps doing that. So sorry.
No problem. Yeah, I learn something new about Teams like every day. Right now, there's a lot to it. Okay, good. So we've started on our goals, objectives, policies, and implementations. Let me clear my screen. I'm working from home today. AI assistant. Okay, yeah. Note takers are fine. It's a public meeting. Very helpful. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll start with introductions at the beginning of the meeting. We are working on our goals or objectives, policies, and implementations today. I just learned how to do a Google Doc on during lunch, so I have that sharing capability now. But let's take advantage of the 90 minutes that we do have to work together as a group going through that document. This is the last week of hot and heavy LAPAC season. Next week, I will work on synthesizing the input from the LAPACs into the 5 deliverables that we have been working on. Don't worry about it. It can run. It's not killing anybody. And once I complete the draft recommendations, I will send it out to all the LAPACs before I send it up, but I'm not going to really wait for your response, but I would appreciate it, given our timelines. I got to fly in here. It would be very helpful if you would take a moment to review those recommendations when you get them, just to make sure I haven't missed anything or gotten anything wrong. Those recommendations then will be delivered to the draft or to the core team, which will then start working on updating the drafts. Those draft documents I thought were going to be back for public review by January, but my team said absolutely not. That's insane. So our timeline is actually to have those for public review this coming May. So you'll have, Betsy, I can hear you typing. You'll have the holiday season, and then probably through winter, and I will come back to you with a new LAPAC email come springtime, so we can schedule a meeting if necessary after you have time to review those drafts, so that we can add anything that may have occurred to us later, or let me know if we got something wrong, or if we're missing anything. Betsy, go ahead. Thanks for raising your hand.
Okay, so I have the document that you provided, and it is a Google document, and I have put it into a folder for the Lake County Watershed Alliance, and some of the Shoreline Community Area Plan council members and earth members have been working on that version so that we have one version with our comments. Now, in that document, I went through each of the objectives. I've gotten down to about halfway through the community development section, section 5. So I'm halfway through that. I still have 6 and 7 to go. However, for each of the primary objectives, I indicated that it is K for keep and /R for required. Okay.
Great.
Now, and
yeah, that's awesome.
in the text of the particular objective, I give you a list of the top level plans or zoning ordinances or whatever it is under which those steps are required. In the subordinate text for each one of those objectives, there are a lot of very small level, low level implementations and policies that are already built in. So for example, I'll give you this example. For preventing erosion, erosive soils, et cetera, that's all in the clean water program. It's in the planning process under the initial study. It's the pre-construction and post-construction erosion controls govern what is approved in a major use permit, et cetera. So we shouldn't have to go in there and relist all of those, pieces. We could spend that space identifying those particular projects or policies that we need in a particular local area. So when it comes to developing, or let's say, cleaning up the channels that are shared by the property owners association and the county, that's where we need a particular implementation project or a policy to govern that. That won't be applicable to any other LAPAC. So I'm suggesting that would be the basis for a standard area plan when you review those policies, goals, objectives, and implementations, that we just cover those basic requirements and then let the local area group identify those locally specific implementations that they want to add. So that's just a structural suggestion. Other people on this call, Holly has been commenting on it. I think I don't know. I think Donna may have commented on it so far, but they can tell you if they how they feel about the way I've approached this, and I'll just leave it at that. But I believe we could use this to standardize the actual area plan structures when all of them when all of the comments are in. So
thank you. That's super helpful.
And now we're not quite through going through all those, but we could go through the beginning, and I can show you how that would help the local area people. You don't have to worry about making sure that everybody has a bike lane because it's in the transportation plan. So that kind of thing. So awesome. That's where we're at.
Awesome.
Okay.
Good. Then I will hand it over to you to share that share screen to help us work through that document, or however you guys want to proceed. I am here to support. Holly, you had your hand up. Did you want to add? Oh yeah. This is your group and your input that my job is to support you in gathering it and get it translated correctly or accurately as recommendations. So this is beautiful. Thank you. Holly, go ahead.
Okay, so Betsy and I had talked about this earlier, but I guess what concerns me is that there's dozens and dozens and dozens of these requirements and documents that are already out there that already point towards what needs to be done. Coming at it from a different point of view, how do we know, all the projects that we go in and see, the planners cite things that are in the local area plans. How do we know, particularly with turnover, that these planners even know what is in there or where to look? That's what concerns me. And how would we know as we're going in if something is specifically in there, besides the fact that Betsy told us that, which I'm sure is right because Betsy said that, but if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. So if I understand your question, you have concern then that future planners may not be versed in the references or the citations that we would, so maybe would miss the community's vision. Is that what you're saying?
In a way, I mean, there are so many plans, like for instance, following the Caltrans plan, which is going to put in, a safety calming, traffic calming, things like that. How do they know? I mean, how do the planners know what is in there without going? I'm having a very hard time understanding how this will come together. If I actually had an outline, that would be a little bit more helpful.
I thought I mailed you an outline a few weeks ago, one of the earlier emails, but I can find that because I do have an outline of the area plan elements.
Okay, so there was something that had about 6 bullet points in it that looked kind of like an outline, but I was hoping for something a little bit more in depth.
Let me see if I can find it while we're talking about it. Yeah, I'll look, and why don't you guys let me know how you want us to proceed in our meeting today, because I want to really maximize the 90 minutes that we have.
Well, Maria, one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that all those specific related regulatory tools are cited in the local area plan is because whenever the planners process an application, they need to know for the initial study that these are the source documents that govern this. In your list of reference documents for evaluating the significant impacts, the planners must know these. And so one of the things they'll do is look at the general plan to see if it's congruent with the general plan. They should also look at the area plan, see if it's congruent with the area plan. It's a part of your process. We shouldn't have to try to fix that.
No, I don't think there's anything to fix.
I don't think so either.
Holly, yeah, that bullet pointed page is what I have for that outline. It goes into much more detail in the later pages. Would you like me to pull that up?
Would you send that out to everybody, please?
Yeah, sure. Be happy to.
In the meantime, do you want to share? You want me to share the screen and show you what we have?
Yes, please.
Okay, because I think this is...
Yeah, so then the whole group can benefit from this work and we can kind of work through it together.
Right.
Oh, okay. But as you're doing that, let's do introductions, just quick introductions. Since each of these meetings, if somebody might just be watching one. Mireya Turner, Community Development Director. Go ahead, Holly.
Holly Harris, Clear Lake Oaks resident on the Shoreline Area Plan.
Excellent. Morgan?
Hello, my name is Morgan. I am a first year with AmeriCorps and CERC, and I'm here today to kind of get a grasp of what my local communities are looking to do for the future and seeing in what ways I can implement that into future AmeriCorps and CERC work to help out.
Super duper. Thank you. Kathy?
Kathy Herdman, a Lucerne resident.
Angela? And Betsy, I can totally hear you typing.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Angela.
Angela Amaral, Clear Lake Oaks resident and member of the Shoreline Area Plan Committee.
Awesome. Maria.
Hi, I'm Maria Kahn. I'm Clear Lake Oaks High Valley resident and the Municipal Advisory Council, the East Region Town Hall member.
Thanks, Gail. Oop, you just muted yourself, Gail. Oh, darn.
Oh, there you go. That button doesn't like me. Gail Delane, Clear Lake Oaks resident. Thank you.
Thanks. Austin?
Austin Pratt, Lucerne resident, Central Region Town Hall Vice Chair.
Thank you. And Donna. And then we'll
Donna Mackwith, Red Bed Audubon, a General Area Plan Environment, Shoreline Advisory Committee, and Blue Ribbon Committee.
Super. Thank you. And Betsy.
Okay, Betsy Kahn, member of the General Plan Advisory Committee, member of the Upper Lake Nice Advisory Committee, and sole proprietor, editor-in-chief of the Essential Public Information Center. And I've been involved in county planning since 2004, so I've been involved in all these plans.
Awesome. This is a really good group. I'm excited. Okay, take it away, Betsy and Holly. The share screen icon is up right next to the microphone icon.
Okay, so I see share screen window or tab. I need share screen. How do I specify this thing?
It open. You double click on the screen picture.
Okay, so first I have to minimize this window. Now I can't. It says share an entire screen. No, I don't want to do that. I
usually just share my whole screen.
Hang on. I have to cancel that. I need to minimize the window for this meeting to pull up the Google Drive document.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will go to share, and it says share content. Choose what you want to share. So I've just clicked on this. I'm stuck here. It says share.
Okay. Usually I'll click the share icon for share content, and then I can see two options below the presenter mode, either the screen or window, which I have 8 windows open. I usually just share screen. That takes our meeting window with all of our names and stuff and minimizes it automatically.
I don't have an option. It just says shares. It says share content, and then there's a box that says screen, window, or tab. Choose what you want to share. I click on that. Mm-hmm. Okay, share window. And then this is the window. Okay, share this window. All right. I think you should see it now.
Yes. Well done. That's exactly it.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll right back up to the top, and you'll see the very first one, 3.0 natural resources. Is this big enough for you guys to see, or do you want me to enlarge it?
Enlarging would be helpful for me, please.
How do I do that?
Up at the top, Betsy, see where it says 100% under format?
Yeah, I do.
Increase that size there.
All right, I'll do it to 150. How's that? Can you guys read that?
Yeah, no, you just have to scroll over to the right.
Yeah, I'll have to move the window. Hold on a second.
It's blurry.
Is it? Yeah, it's blurred. Oh, wait, it's coming.
It's a little better.
It might need to buffer a second.
Yeah, that's fine now.
Okay, so now you see 3.0. You have to keep it. It is required. And then you'll see down here, my color.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it's required by all of the municipal code chapters. It's required by Chapter 21, which is the zoning ordinance. It's implemented by the major use permit initial studies and permit conditions approved by the Planning Commission. So things like policy number 3.1.1A, employ appropriate erosion control measures during and after construction. That's all in your process. We shouldn't need to have to repeat that in every local area plan. Now, below that, you'll see this list of Ks. I believe those were entered by Donna, although I don't know because she hasn't chosen a color to use to display her entries.
That's correct. I was just reviewing them and I wasn't That's not my final, but yes, that's correct.
Sure. But you hadn't seen what I added at that point.
That's correct.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is 3.1.1a, 3.1 implementation 3.1.1a, interagency cooperation on education, blah, blah, blah. All of that's already required. It's in the clean water program. It's in the major use permit process. It's in those municipal code chapters. Now, as I've mentioned to you before hundreds of times, those code chapters have to be updated because they're really out of date. But as we talked about, for example, the grading ordinance. The grading ordinance is one of those key things that will affect whether or not we have appropriate erosion control measures. And those are the things that need to be updated. But I'm just saying that you already have these structures, and I would want the planners to use the local area plan content where they would see this. Okay? Yeah, this is required. Yep. I have to go find that. Yeah.
And the planners should also be aware and know what's in the stormwater management in the various different areas of the municipal code.
Absolutely, sure. So you have.
But we will continue to also have a section in our staff reports that addresses compliance with the general plan. Now, just as a reminder, or maybe I haven't even told this group, but the elements for the local area plans are going to be integrated as elements of the overall general plan. So we will have countywide elements, and we will have our local area, our local planning area elements. That way, it'll be submitted to the state as one large document of a general plan update, and it'll erase any misconception either on behalf of the public or even on behalf of future staff that local area plans are not as significant as general plans. They will all be equal in importance.
So what I'm saying is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, those 8 items underneath the objective, there's only one that is actually applicable only to the Shoreline Communities Area Plan. That's the last one, which is to develop and distribute education. Blah, blah, it's really the reference here is to the Crimp and the Schindler Creek, and we talked about this. What we need up here, let's see, implemented by, I'll have to add this here, which is refer to the Clear Lake Integrated, Watershed Management Plan, sub-watershed. We'll just call it Schindler Creek right now. There might be other ones for the Shoreline Area Plan. Each one of the watersheds in the basin is supposed to have an assessment in that watershed management plan, which would then explain to you. It would have a map of your erosive soils and your water drainages, your streams, your creeks, your culverts, your outlets, etc. There is supposed to be a watershed assessment. Now that isn't done, so I would put that in there. Do the watershed assessment. That's the only one that is specific only to this particular a local area plan. It would be modified for each of the watersheds in the rest of the areas.
And in doing that watershed assessment, would we also catch what Austin was concerned about at our last meeting to make sure that the different creeks and stuff in Lucerne are also now?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
You have to do a watershed assessment for each of the sub watersheds. So
great. I want to make sure that we capture that one. That was important.
So Betsy, you're saying we should be adding another thing down there, or not adding another thing, but we should make sure that what you just said is one of the implementation plans that are down here.
Okay, I'm going to take that section. You're watching me do this now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take that section and I want to give it the strike-through font. How do I do that?
Okay, that's under format, up to the left, format.
I have to
No,
move it over.
down. Where it says
Wait,
file, edit,
I
view,
have-
insert,
wait.
format.
Hold on. I have to move the window to get to that. Okay. So here's format,
Text.
text.
And then you see strike through over on the right on the drop down menu. Go back up to text.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, thank you. So I would eliminate those. And then what I would do is under this, whichever number you want it to be at that point, I would say that you need to create the appropriate watershed assessment to evaluate natural resources requiring protection during development. And we're talking about all development now, remember? So update the Clear Lake Integrated Watershed Management Plan. Okay, so that's what I would say is specific to this particular, because there are only 3 that have assessments. We have 15 more that don't have them, and this would be one of them. Okay.
Great.
Now I'm going to turn that into my purple, and there you have this. So see, the rest of it is redundant. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's what I'm suggesting, and it's up to the folks in the LAPAC to decide what they want, because I'm not even an appointed member of the LAPAC, but I'm trying to advise you guys on how we could get this done efficiently.
I appreciate all the time that you've taken on this one. This is helpful.
Well,
we don't have to have a ton of policies and implementations. We just need to make sure that the ones that we have are important to our planning area.
And refer to them so that the readers who don't know what they are can understand what governs this. These are governance things. So the next one is all of the above and the Clean Water Program for the US EPA water quality orders. See, then you don't have to say encourage new water storage facilities that do not result in significant adverse environmental impacts. You already have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Holly.
Okay, so if we are saying that we need to create a sub-watershed, management plan or whatever, et cetera, what happens if it doesn't get done? What happens in the interim?
Well, what happens if any of these are not implemented? Nothing. There's no teeth behind a general plan.
Right. So then how do we deal with projects that are coming up?
Well, then you talk about the project. You don't talk about what governs it. You talk about, because the governance is in the main objective. You put in there, we want a bridge over Short Street, or, whatever it is, the project that you want for that particular area plan.
Right. No, when I talk about projects, I was talking about, so say someone comes in with a proposal for, some development.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
From the opposite point of view, then how do we protect anything if none of these assessments have been done?
We do still have setbacks from riparian areas and waterways. So we do have resource conservation protections in place. We just don't have the specific studies.
And I would say that, the implementation of the general plan, since it is Article 1 in Chapter 21 of the zoning ordinance, is to implement the general plan, that's where you have to take the action to prioritize the watershed assessments. I mean, we have to have a way to make sure that the general plan gets implemented, and we don't have one at this point.
I guess what I would say is I'm still a little bit uneasy about doing these local area plans first when I don't know what the overview is of the general plan, even though I do understand that the general plan is supposed to be the sum of the area plans, but I also don't know what the overall, what the portions are that are identical in all the area plans in order to be able to know what's specific to put in our areas. Am I making sense on that?
Yeah, because we're working from a very badly structured general plan that is almost, it's what, 13 years old or something, that wasn't designed this way. It worries me that I don't have a general plan set of objectives that says we'll implement the clean water program. We'll implement this, we'll implement that, we'll update the municipal codes. But, that's not in the general plan. So we're having to force it into the local area plans because it doesn't exist yet in the general plan.
So you're saying by forcing it, that will force it into the general plan?
This will become part of the general plan.
We do have a table at the lakecounty2050.org website that shows which elements are considered county-wide and which are going to be covered in each area plan.
Well, but as Holly is saying, if we don't get it into our area plans, how can we guarantee that the general plan will follow this?
Since there are different topics in each one.
Yeah, that's the other thing, yeah.
I'm not really sure I understand your question, because it's not like we already have processes to review projects for compliance with the general plan and area plans.
Right, but
so I'm not sure.
I'm now.
Yeah.
So basically, we have a general plan that has, and I'm going to make this up. So there's 6 different topics. We have we have 8 different area plans that have 9 different topics, but obviously all the topics are of importance to us. How do we know, as we're doing this, since we can't see what's in the general plan, that the topics that are of importance to us that are not in the local area plan are going to be in the general plan? I am having a hard time meshing that, because I can't see anything.
Do you happen to have topics in mind that you're worried are going to be left out?
Well, no, except for the fact. So, for instance, we have, what is it? Is it water quality is in the general plan? Okay. Mm-hmm. Water quality is not in the local area plan. We are concerned, we are on the lake. We're concerned about water quality and water issues, but the local area plans are being done first. So how do we know that the things that are important to us are going to actually be in the general plan?
Well, Holly, that's why the statement I made in this particular objective is, it's required by all of the above and the Lake County Clean Water Program for compliance with the water quality orders. Specific in each of these area plans, you need to identify that this is a requirement, so it is tied together. And by the way,
in this drafting and input process, I would recommend putting it here, and then let's see where it ends up. If it is redundant because it's covered in the general plan, that's not hurting anything. So let's just make sure we capture what's important in this planning area through this process that we're working on right now.
I can agree with that, and then go through and delete anything that's extraneous down the road, as long as we get to work together with the general plan and the local area plan. Or are the local area plans going to be approved before the general plan is written?
No, it's going to be one comprehensive document. Right, so the county-wide elements are in the process of like some of the questions on the surveys, some of the things we're talking about here will actually inform county-wide stuff. So yeah, I don't think that our goal is to not lose anything. So when we do finally approve, when the board approves it, the general plan update, it will be both. It will be first the EIR for the project, and then it will be the general plan, including countywide elements and our local local planning area elements.
So one of the primary rules under the Office of Planning and Research is that anything that the county does has to be congruent with the general plan.
Yeah.
That's a review. That's a review
right. But as far as Lake County 2050 goes, when the public documents are out for review, I'm pretty sure it'll be countywide and local area plan elements at the same time. And so you're welcome to just review everything. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. And if not, then they're coming out soon, like closely related, because we're doing the EIR on the whole project. And so we have to, that's why the recommendations for the LAPACs are so important, because that more clearly defines our whole project. And that's how we can start doing environmental with the local area plans and the countywide elements.
Okay, I can feel comfortable with leaving this stuff here just so that we know it doesn't get forgotten, and then we can delete later. Does that work?
That's what I would recommend.
Does that work with everybody here?
It's okay with me. I'll just reverse this. Let's see. How did I do that? Okay.
You don't need to reverse it. We'll figure it out.
No, it has
That's
the K
all right.
on either side.
I'll just do it. It's done.
Perfect. Okay. Let's keep going.
So, do you guys want to go through this document?
I think we should, since we do have,
Okay.
Yeah, this is way further ahead than what I have. So yeah, let's use this one.
Okay, so we've done the 3.1.1. Now we have 3.2.1. Here's the requirement. Here's the specific.
I'm going to step away and go get my better glasses so I can stop squinting. I'll be right back. Please carry on.
So this is what, I'm sorry about scrolling like this, but this is what we have in this section. We can leave all these things. I just want to add the requirements.
Okay, so I just want to jump in for everybody and say what we're talking about in this section is protecting and preserving the quality and quantity of water resources.
Well, let's see what the objective says.
Well, that's what I was just reading there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it says every watershed, of all water resources. All water resources. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That would be all water resources. Okay?
Yep.
And that would, that's fine. There we go. So, and then the requirements are to make sure you implement these things.
What about the shoreline ordinance?
Stormwater management, shoreline protection, floodplain management, grading, groundwater management, zoning ordinance, and the Clear Lake Integrated Watershed Management Plan. So when I say all of the above, I mean everything.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I think just to be clear, you should just copy that section down there too.
Okay. Let's see. I'll copy that. I'll move down here. And I will put that here.
That just makes it a lot clearer, Betsy.
That's fine. I can do this. It's a mechanical thing. I can do that. But, they build on each other. It's all the above plus this, and then it's all of the above plus this. So I can do that mechanically, and that's fine. Let's see. And the Lake County Clean Water Program. Okay. So that one works for you? Is that right? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is copy this, and when we get down to the next one, where it says all of the above, okay, I'll just replace that with this. And this one happens to be and the geothermal setback ordinance. Because that doesn't apply to the other ones, but it applies to this one. Okay?
Okay, so if we go back up and let people say if they have anything for that section, the 3.2.1.
3.2.1. Okay, so now we're at these particular sub-items, right? So new storage facilities, interagency cooperation, conserve water. We have new water conservation legislation rules from the state. The low flow plumbing fixtures, that's part of the permitting process already.
And on that one, I just added something. I just feel like wherever we don't have to print brochures, flyers, and pamphlets, and can do it online, that money might be.
They're already online. The planning department. If you go to the planning department website, they have all the informational, educational documents that are related to the permitting process, including low flow plumbing fixtures, that kind of thing.
So if you want to take that out, Betsy, that'd be fine with me. That was me in purple who put that in. If it doesn't make sense to leave it there, if you want to just pull it out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'll take that out, and we don't need to modify that. I'm just going to take that.
Thank you.
Sure. So then we have design new development to reduce offsite runoff, again, part of the Clean Water Program. Drainage plans, improvements, drainage features, pervious pavement, it's PERVE, pervious pavement, which is, wait a minute, it's not liking that spelling either, but it's part of the low impact development requirements for all new development. So that should be on every paved surface should use pervious paving. I
think they called it permeable in the other document.
Yes.
Yeah, and any thoughts on adding water hauling wording to this section? Maria, can you give us some direction on what are we looking at for water hauling? Because if water hauling is just essentially moving water around the county, you're taking water from one area to a disadvantaged area.
So it turns out that according to the Google search, that spelling is correct. Pervious, where is it now? It is pervious with an I.
PERVIOUS, pervious.
Yeah, that's what I have in there.
Okay, great.
So it's just a term that's not familiar to the dictionary that was used to create this document, but that's what it is. And again, it's part of the low impact development requirements for all new development, so now.
I don't see anything in here about water moving. Angela, were you referring to something specific?
No, that's what I was asking. So can we put something in here for water hauling? Because water hauling is basically diversion using a truck, right? If it's not for, was it Betsy?
That's in the groundwater management ordinance that needs to be fixed. Remember, we had that whole deal with the cannabis cultivation. I
remember the water. Yeah, I remember the water hauling ordinance, and then that was rescinded. But I'm wondering if is there a plan at the county level to make a water hauling ordinance, or should we put it in here? I guess is what I'm asking Maria.
I don't know of any plan on that. I think that there are water rights and laws that govern extraction of water from that. So I'm not sure about an ordinance.
You can't prevent a farmer from selling water that comes from his well. There's no rule that says you can't sell your own water.
Oh, no.
We do have an ordinance that says you can't transport it out of the county, though, for sale.
But only out of the county. You're allowed to take water from Scotts Valley and take it up to Double Eagle Ranch and use it for your pot farm.
Well, just the same, I can't divert. You can get water diversion permits for legal purposes, but you have.
I'm pretty sure that on-site groundwater is a requirement for cannabis permit.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not just talking about that. I'm just talking overall because we did see during the drought a lot of water hauling going around, and I was behind a truck that was coming out of Lakeport that filled up his truck there and brought it all the way to the eastern side of the county. So,
sure.
And I mean, you can
most of that was probably not for legal cannabis permits.
Right. And so that's what it is. Fish and Wildlife sees it as water diversion if you're not using it for a legal purpose.
So is there in this list of things that are required, is there a Department of Fish and Wildlife restriction that I should cite?
Let me think about it and I'll look into it some more. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to add in here. This is my shorthand for look something up.
Just put water diversion and I'll know what it means.
Okay, how's that?
Perfect, thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So, once again, we wouldn't need to, we don't need to make more rules. We already have plenty of rules. We just need to apply them.
Mm-hmm.
So
nothing wrong with having duplicative objectives, though, because you're voicing the priorities of the community. So even though we do have laws, I don't find that that's redundant.
I'm not suggesting removing any objectives.
Okay, cool.
The objectives are what they are.
Yeah. Excellent.
So now let's see here under policy 3.2.1E, private and project, public and private projects. Improve water quality, reduce excess. That again is the Clean Water Program, Shoreline Protection Ordinance, Stormwater Management, Flood Protection, Floodplain, all that kind of stuff. Certainly.
Oh, can you go back up a couple? There was a place where we were encouraging drought resistant. Yeah, could you put in native before drought resistant, please?
Which one?
It's P. I'm pointing at it. Look. No, just kidding. 3.2.1B. Design new development to conserve water using native.
Okay.
Drought resistant vegetation.
Policy 3.1.
Policy. Yeah. Sorry. P 3.1.2. No, 3.2.1B. Yeah. Using native drought resistant vegetation, please.
Hang on. Drought resistant. Oh, so insert native here. Okay.
Exactly. Yes, please.
Yeah, no problem.
We want to make it clear that we're prioritizing native, which is already drought resistant, over other types.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. I do want to mention that using gray water systems is a violation of the adjudicated water rights to the Yellow County Flood Control Water Conservation District. They thought when we tried to have an ordinance passed that would allow installation of gray water systems in Lucerne, especially, people could use their dishwater, their shower water, and their washing machine water to water their gardens. And we ran afoul of that adjudicated water right. Yellow County says every drop of water that falls on the watershed belongs to the lake, and we own the first 7 feet of the lake. So just mention that. We would love to have that.
Unless it goes to the geysers, to the steam fields.
Well, yeah. The geysers and steam fields are a workaround to the water quality problem that was occurred in the flood of 1989. It's just that's a that's not the requirement of the county. There's no requirement to do that. That's the California Department of Public Health when they said you can't release anything but clean water into the lake, and the flood released a whole lot of untreated effluent from the North Lakeport water treatment plant through Lyons Creek into the lake, and that's when there was a moratorium on all new building until we could create that full circle program to remove the treated wastewater and dispose of it at the geysers. So yeah, you have to have both, but they're built into that agreement with Yolo County.
One thing I know that the water company is very concerned about is flooding of their, what do you call their sewer fields or whatever you want to call it. Maybe we need to have something in there of, they're looking for areas around here to be able to put in another, and I can't remember what they're called now. I'm just blanking out.
A wastewater treatment facility. As it turns out, the Clear Lake Oaks County wastewater treatment facility is in the floodplain, and it was constructed in the floodplain before there was any, actual requirement to avoid development in the floodplain or whatever it is. I mean, that would never have gotten constructed under the current rules.
So should we have something in here where we work with the Clear Lake Oaks Water District to identify areas for their, what's it called? Their,
is it leach fields or?
They're kind of leach fields. So they have the thing that's over right off the lake, and they're looking for another pond or a large place that they can actually pump water in case there's flood. Otherwise, it's going to go back into the lake.
So would that be under the flooding section, or would it be here?
I don't know.
Well, so let's see. This is the purpose of this is
it's stormwater management,
water quality. Okay.
Protecting water quality. Maybe it needs to be in both sections.
Yeah.
Well, you could add an item, a policy that says that the operators of wastewater treatment facilities will the wastewater treatment facility will will develop a project to create a safe wastewater treatment facility. They can get grants to do that, but you could add something about that.
We need to help them identify property for that.
We don't.
Well, they're asking. They're asking for help.
That's a different deal. That's where the Municipal Advisory Council should work with the board of directors of the district, to come up with every district has to have a master service plan, and the master service plan has to be funded by their rates. They have to exercise their funding, their fiscal authority to create maintenance and operation projects for the future growth of the district. That'll probably be, it's like if you look in their sphere of influence report, it might say in 10 years, we're going to have a new water treatment pond. So this is why it's like it's so painful to me that we don't have these maps that show the health and safety systems in a given local area that we can work with. But you understand what the master service plan is. The community members that are paying into the Clear Lake Oaks County Water District need to affect the contents of that master service plan because you're paying the rates for it.
Okay, so that was just something I didn't know if it should go in here or not. I don't need to belabor it.
I don't know either, but it's up to you guys. We could certainly add something. Work with the water district to.
Or just put in a note like that. We can always remove it.
You want me to put it in here?
Anywhere.
Okay, so work with the Clear Lake Oaks County Water and Sewer District to include replacement of the current wastewater treatment facility as a priority for the districts.
It's just the overflow ponds.
But the aerated pond. That's the one that's danger, and it's built with earth and dam construction too. So it could fail and contaminate the lake, and etc. So yeah, see, if I was living in Clear Lake Oaks, I'd be hounding the water district as often as I could about doing this.
You can move.
Yeah, I know. I don't live on the lakeshore. There's a reason for that. Anyway, so does that work for you guys?
That's fine.
Okay. So okay. Should I keep going?
Does anybody have anything else they want to put in here?
See this last one here, policy 3.2.1F, promote the establishment of districts to provide maintenance of the channels and the keys and other private channels. That one is definitely something that needs to be articulated here. Now, provide information on water pollution control. Again, that's all part of the Clean Water Program. But this particular one, this is a new need articulated there because we have that problem over the lake being theoretically not part of the keys, etc. So I would definitely want some kind of a policy there.
Betsy, on things like that, can you just put a double asterisk at the end so that we can know?
Let's see. I'm going to put here TBD. GBD, LAP, policy, and implementations. Okay.
This is Donna. Thank you for putting that in there. I brought it to the attention of the Keys POA board, and they didn't want to have any discussion on it. So I'd like to look into it more.
Oh no, that's really important. That's important for all the channels around the lake. Again, it needs to be in the shoreline protection chapter of the municipal codes and the ordinances that govern shoreline protection under the Clean Water Program, water quality orders from the US EPA. So that all ties together. But yeah, that definitely needs to be done.
That also ties in with the, wasn't there another one there?
Another
one?
Yeah,
the next one.
321H.
Let's see here. 321H.
Oh, okay, so it's policy 321H and implementation 321H.
Continue to work with them.
This is Donna. I think monitoring would be really important, especially since they're spraying herbicides so often.
Well, again, you need a whole project for this that includes everything: monitoring, spraying, ownership, rates of who pays for the cleanup. It's you need a whole policy and implementations for the channels and the Clear Lake Keys.
So can you copy that down to the other two ones, just so the 3.21, et cetera? Now, along this vein, is there something in Lucerne, such as the dredging of the harbors or anything that needs to go in here? Or is that a different area?
No, it's in the shoreline communities. So this is...
No, I meant a different subsection.
Okay, first let me finish with the previous task. Do you want me to add that to what?
3.2.1H.
Okay, so that's
it's along the same topic.
Okay, and then
below it, yeah.
This one here?
Yeah, they're all together.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is all one need, and it will set the precedent for all the other shoreline channel projects that have to be the same, because the county's not, it's not including it in the Clean Water Program because theoretically it's not part of the lake, which we know is absurd. Okay.
Hey, Betsy, real quick before moving on, thank you very much. Sorry, I forgot who last spoke, but thank you for bringing that up, because that's something specifically in Lucerne that we would maybe even need a comment below that as well for the dredging underway currently, if only because there is a specific outflow creek that affects that harbor and its dredging, and therefore the rest of the lake, but in a relatively unique way, in a way that, you know, other harbors,
the Lucerne facilities are different than Clear Lake Oaks facilities. Would you like to add an implementation under here? See, this says the policy is for the Clear Lake Keys. Maybe we should have a policy to work with the Lucerne shoreline. Well, again, it'd be shoreline protection, but work with the Lucerne community on the particular Lucerne Harbor. Just add something.
Yeah, as well as, I believe, as far as I understand, the state, the wider frameworks therein, it would probably behoove us to also include the 3 federally recognized surviving tribes in the immediate area as well,
and they would be part of the consultation under SB 18 and AB 52 in project planning. So we're going to develop a Lucerne watershed.
I think that even though we have SB 18 and AB 52, let's also add in working collaboratively, because there's a little bit of a difference.
Okay, but that's a different thing than this. Give me a second here. So we want to have the watershed assessment and policies, goals, and implementation.
You're doing great, Betsy.
Okay, so I'm just trying to create this.
Appreciate you.
Number 4, protection of the Lucerne shoreline and water. Let's see, recreational facilities, something like that. Now, what was the other thing you wanted to do?
It was relative to the other comment.
Tribes. Include the tribes.
Yeah. And the natural habitation of shorelines and inputs being as maintained as possible within the same. Yeah.
We have to get them to participate in every one of these things. All of them. So, but in this case, we'll say evaluation of the requirements for above. Okay. So if you want to emphasize it, because it should be in everything, every single policy you have.
Okay, I don't think there's anybody here who may be able to answer, but don't we have keys in Glen Haven and also Conote or channels?
Oh, yeah. That's why.
So maybe we need to add in Conote and Glen Haven just as a reminder.
But okay, that's you can expand this all you want to. Lucerne, Glen Haven, Kono, Tai, and Paradise.
Well, does Paradise Cove have keys or channels? I don't think they do.
They have piers and docks.
Right. That would be different, though, I think.
Well, it would still be part of the watershed assessment. See this?
Okay, is that what we're on? Is what a watershed, water resources is considered watershed assessment? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all governed by your watershed assessment.
Okay.
So, but shoreline and recreational facilities include tribes and evaluation of requirements for all projects.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking more in terms of above, like working with the Clear Lake Keys Properties Owner Association and, Glen Haven and, as more specific, sure, the monitoring of the channels and maintenance.
So in addition to the tribes, including tribes and property owner associations, which we do have to do. Okay. that work?
Yeah, some of these are just basically placeholders, reminder
Sure.
things.
Yeah, I mean, these are just general statements at this point.
Mm-hmm. No, but they're good. We're getting somewhere.
It's just that we have clear keys called out, but nothing else. So, yeah, it's good. We want to include all those, everything that affects the water quality in the lake from every watershed.
Is this where we talk about the Superfund site?
Let's see. I don't see any reference to the Superfund site.
No, there isn't.
Oh, and as you mentioned, the North Shore, the North Drive properties on the Windflower Point on the north-facing arm of the Oaks arm of the lake and Windflower Point, all of that is not actually specified in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, okay, how about still Paradise Cove, North Drive, Shoreline Developments, Windflower Point, and the US EPA Superfund site. That work? You got everything in there, the kitchen sink.
Anything else?
I think they got it on this one.
Okay.
Unless you want to add Island Drive and what's that island? Rattlesnake Island, and we get down in the weeds here. Can we just say we need to do this for our watershed assessments?
Yeah.
And make sure we get all these policies in place? Yeah. Once again, it's all tied to the US EPA water quality requirements. So, okay, now here we have this as protection of diverse vegetation and wildlife. Once again, it's all built in here. Now, the fact is that when you get around to changing these like the shoreline protection ordinance, you're going to find that you need to add things in there about diverse vegetation and wildlife, because it may not be covered in those ordinances, but that's what governs. So nothing to say you have to take that out. You want that to be done.
So why would the geothermal setback ensure the protection of diverse vegetation and wildlife?
I thought I had it in here.
You do. I said, why would it be ensure the protection?
Oh, because the setback prohibits certain land use and zoning designations. It prohibits certain kinds of projects.
Well, okay, then I think, all right, I need to think about that one.
Okay. Well, come out. But I think that was the reason why that ordinance was created, was to...
It was to not allow power plants and like closed loop. Direct use was okay, but it was just larger power plants.
No, I remember. And we wanted it to be the industrial setback, but they wouldn't allow that. So maybe we need to someday update the geothermal setback ordinance, huh?
Well, I want it to be the viewshed ordinance.
Well, I'm just saying there's the tool there. The ordinance exists. Whether it's adequate now or not is depending upon, whether the general plan says we want to make sure we have all these new municipal codes in compliance with federal and state programs. That kind of thing. And
I would like to see the geothermal ordinance updated, just because the setback is actually for all power generation facilities, which includes some of our more recent technologies like solar and geothermal and wind and bioenergy. So I'd like to see it become more comprehensive and take those into account as well. But that's for a different time.
In the implementation of the general plan during the zoning ordinance changes, that's where you do that. Right?
Yeah. Yep, that's where we put that. Exactly.
So it would be in the zoning ordinance update. Hopefully you would do all of those. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So now, do we want to go through the next ones here? The policy 3.3.1A.
So Bessie, can you jump ahead to 3.31D, please?
3.31D is a dog?
Correct.
Yeah, sure. Right here.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah. I'm waiting for your computer to finish buffering. I'm looking for policy 3.31D. There we go. So where it says unique vegetation and or wildlife habitat. So unique vegetation, can you put comma after vegetation, wildlife corridors and or wildlife habitat, please?
Let's see.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. I'm not going to purple that comma, but I'll just purple this for you. So, okay. Transferable development rights. Oh boy. Where are those called for? In what? It's probably in a zoning ordinance someplace, right?
I never come across those.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Except in the cannabis ordinance thing, we're talking about who's able to transfer the permit. But
yeah, and use permits by law follow the land.
Right. So, all right. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess. Want to skip to 3.3.1E, the oak woodlands.
Maria, quick question. What's the difference between a community growth boundary and a building envelope?
Community growth boundaries are in the general plan as where the community would like to see future infrastructure be extended. So that's where you're going to put your future commercial and medium and high density residential. A building envelope is something that happens during a mapping process, like a subdivision, and you are limiting development to specific areas, typically to avoid biological or cultural resources.
Okay, so you had mentioned a special study area possibly for Spring Valley, Benmore Canyon, and Double Eagle, but you can't create a building envelope for an area, right? It's a parcel.
No, that's done through a mapping process. Yeah.
Okay. And it's it is a parcel requirement.
Okay, I just wanted to ask that real quick. Thank you.
Sure. So now this replanting ratio, requires 6 to 1. That would be in some ordinance someplace, right? Right now, we're bickering over how to word that in the cannabis cultivation ordinances over the replacement ratio. That replacement ratio is a horrible standard. It is.
So do you want to put in parentheses there, Betsy, that we can look at the City of Clear Lake's oak tree ordinance? They've had it for a long time.
Here's what I'm going to say is look at the City of Clear Lake.
Or I would go Sonoma County.
Exactly what I was going to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. That's,
Bitsy, if you go back up to 3.3.1A,
yeah.
where we're talking about designating resource conservation, et cetera, et cetera. So it's
Yeah.
up above. It's up above the.
Hang on a second. I have a task to finish.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll be right with you. Okay. Now go back up to what?
3.3.1A.
Okay. 3.3.1. Policy you're talking about here?
So basically, the policy and the implementation plan. So are there any other, I think we had talked about, Maria, in our in-person meeting, we talked about doing some type of protection overlay for Schindler Creek.
Okay.
That's wetland habitat.
You know, so we should have in something here, you know, something to do with the hitch also. I don't know where it would be, but maybe down underneath the little dashes, develop a Schindler Creek protection overlay, develop a watershed protection plan for the parcels between the Keys and Orchard Shore.
Good catch. Yep.
I think also we were including that parcel at Keys Landing that has the boat launch.
That would be important, as we do have hitch stranded there at times.
So you want to add
something about the hitch protection. It doesn't have to be. I think if we just get some words.
All right. So I'm going to suggest add land use and zoning designations for what's the subject here? For protection of, what did you say? Wetland?
Hitch. Of hitch.
Okay, so I'm going to say compliance with the state and local hitch protection requirements. Yeah, does that work for you guys?
Yeah, I'm assuming that the Schindler Creek protection overlay of some type would include those parcels behind Dollar General.
Well,
yeah, because we spelled those out during the in-person meeting.
Here's the thing: the Shoreline Protection Ordinance governs the lake bed itself, which is measured at the near zone. The near zone is measured to a certain elevation around the lake. So it's everything above a certain elevation down to the shoreline, which is governed by the Shoreline Protection Ordinance. But if we just say land use and zoning designations for compliance with the hitch protection, that could be in the Shoreline Protection Ordinance and the grading ordinance and the floodplain and so forth. It's land use designations and zoning designations that are the ones you're concerned about. These parcels may not be right on the shoreline that need to be protected.
Correct.
Be all the streams where they have spawning areas. Schindler Creek, where they channelized that section next to the Dollar General, that should be, oh God, that's horrible. So,
that would be part of the Schindler Creek protection overlay. The parcels behind Dollar General. But I think, Maria, weren't we talking about some sort of protection along the creek all the way up the creek?
That would be to the headwaters in the watershed assessment.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a land use designation amendment if it isn't already designated resource conservation.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what I remember. Yeah.
Now, are there any other ones in Lucerne?
Oh, yeah, so add land use and zoning designations for compliance. This is for everything.
Sorry, in Lucerne particularly, the Harbor Creek Outflow Park has had hitch confirmed in it in previous years, all the way to Country Club, which is
and so is the Holiday Harbor in Nice. You know, there's again, this goes to the shoreline protection and the drainage systems that are managed by the Clean Water Program, small separate storm system, municipal requirements under the Clean Water. You know, but you're going to want to. What you're asking here is to have land use and zoning designations to implement the hitch protection everywhere.
Right, but I thought we were also talking about having specific targeted shoreline area plan project things.
So add specific shoreline project areas for implementation of hitch protection requirements. How's that?
Yeah, and I think Donna added in somewhere, but the grebe nesting things too.
Yeah, I think that's up here. Where did I see that? I did see, hold on a second.
It might be down below.
Well, I'm scrolling back up here just to make sure. Okay, so we'll go the other direction because it did pop out. I think she typed grebe in all caps. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. So policy 3.3.1F. Now I'll stop scrolling and you can see the text. It says promote establishment of no wake zones in specified areas identified as environmentally sensitive or areas which are primarily used for non-motorized recreation, such as swimming, kayaking, birdwatching, grebe nesting sites, etc. And that would be all Rodman Slough.
Yes.
Yeah.
And parts in the East Channel, Jago Bay.
Yeah.
But right now we're talking about
just shoreline. Yeah.
Shoreline.
Understand. Yeah. Thank you for considering that.
Yeah. Which again, the shoreline protection ordinance is what we need to fix on this. Yeah. To govern all of the shoreline. So now the second one is no wake zones for sensitive areas and its tributaries. Isn't that kind of redundant to the, oh no, that's the implementation.
Right.
So that goes into the clean water, that goes into the State Lands Commission implementation of the land grant to the County of Lake for the actual exploitation of the lake bed for promotion of tourism. But it's in that land grant, in the implementation of the land grant requirements. They govern, what they do is they install all the navigation signs and the buoys and all that kind of stuff. That's what the that's what the lake bed management division of the Department of Public Works does. It's not part of water resources. But so let's see. Establish no wake. This would be. Let's see. Would it be add to implementation of lake bed management requirements for compliance with the State Lands Commission land grant of 1973. you just want to make sure there's an implementation for that. So. I'm going to make a note here so people understand this. Lake bed management is conducted by Department of Public Works, not the Watershed Protection District or the Department of Water Resources. Okay, oops, I'm going to typo here. Put that in brackets. See, this is one of the common problems that we have. Some of these requirements are not under the Department of Water Resources. We had to fight with the Public Works Department to get them to clean out the culverts that go underneath the shoreline. Remember that, Austin?
Do I? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
we have culverts that go under the shoreline? I didn't know
yeah.
that.
Oh, hundreds of them.
You mean into the shoreline, into the lake, under the road?
Yeah, under the road, like the one in Nice.
Oh, okay. I was picturing them
And
like
in the Keys.
under the dirt, like under the water.
There's about three in the
don't.
Rivieras first and second of Lucerne alone. There's like 3 in each Riviera of Lucerne.
Yeah, exactly. And there are hundreds of them around the shoreline.
Actually, when you drive down any of the highways or roads in Lake County, you'll see they have mile markers like 1.13, 1.12. Every single one of those mile markers is a culvert going underneath the road.
Yep.
My word. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we measured them. There were 60 or 70 of them along North Shore of Highway 20.
Yeah.
Did the county finally clean them out?
No.
Who knows?
They're active, at least in the
I see
Keys.
Caltrans vacuum trucks occasionally in our vicinity that I think are probably doing that activity nowadays, but those are high tech. I think last 4 or 5 years.
Well, and those are only for the ones that are actually installed by Caltrans. There are hundreds of them that are installed by the county as in developing places like Lucerne, for example.
Well, yeah, if you go up, so for instance, if you go up to, say, High Valley Road, you'll see it'll say mile marker 3.43, and you'll see culverts going off that are funneling, little tributaries that run into Schindler Creek.
Yep.
Paper parcels in Lucerne, same, except most are not signed by anything, but you come across these clearly, they're I think $1,000 to $5,000 a piece dollar culverts that just go to nowhere, and you cross several dozen of them to get to a pinnacle, view shed area here in North Lucerne.
Yep. We tried to get a project approved in the Clear Lake Integrated Watershed Management Plan to do that. So. No.
So Maria, since it's 2:30 now, how do you want us to proceed? Since it's our last meeting.
Well, you can see we're on page 5.
This is good stuff.
We're on page 5.
I think it's really good. I would love to keep.
Hold on, let me see
doing this type of thing.
Yeah, I think
that would be nice, except I wonder. I wonder if I could take my Lakeport. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my calendar. I've got a Cobb LAPAC at 3, and then Lakeport in person at 5. But if I left this laptop on, I could leave the meeting. Or actually, I can just leave the meeting. I don't think I end the meeting if I leave it, do I? And you guys can just keep going if you have the time.
We aren't going to have the time to get through the 26 pages and design guidelines and special study areas.
Okay, let's take a look at the calendar.
So if you look at the screen, my cursor is on the sidebar, which shows that we're on page 5 of 33. Okay.
Okay.
Now I can tell you, I got down all the way down here. I got way down to, let's see, I think, I was in the middle of section 5. So if people if people would read this, let's see, I can just leave it up here, and you guys can go through this so you can see what I have added, and you could, this is, when I got to section 3, I didn't have the same structure of the requirements. Let me scroll back up here so I can show you. Section 3 is, section 5, sorry. So here we go. I'm going to stop at community development, objective 5.1.1, comprehensive economic development. So at that point, there are no required, there's no regulatory requirement for us to do economic development. Is there, Maria? I don't think so.
No.
It's something, it's an option of the state and the counties to elect to do economic development. But so what I did was I looked at the text, and then I just added these comments. It's needed by, or there's a comment that says, this, that we should, I'd like to talk about this one, 5.5.1A. It says continue to implement elements of the North Shore redevelopment plan. That is over. There is no redevelopment agency. And we have this problem where the redevelopment agency created things called special study areas inside the community growth boundaries, which I believe should be relabeled as special projects. Okay?
Yeah, that makes good sense.
And that way, the distinction, the special study areas are outside of the community growth boundaries. And we also, if you refer to the OPR chapter 2 of the guidelines, they explain how you get from a special study area to a special plan for development of a special study area over the next 20 years. It doesn't have to be a requirement right away. But
great.
So we need to fix this.
So Maria, while you're here, I just wanted to ask something I had asked some of these guys earlier today. So if we have special projects as opposed to special study areas, et cetera, and I don't know if it's something that is allowable or possible in a local area plan, but could we have a special project which actually looks at, the evacuation plans of the vulnerable areas and also water evacuation for the shoreline as a project, a special project? And then
wouldn't we just establish that as a implementation?
I don't know. That's why I'm throwing this out here. Then my second one would be, I feel very strongly, I would love to have, and maybe it's an implementation plan too, but a special project, which basically focuses the shoreline area plan towards we being a, ecologically oriented, promoting the historical, cultural, things that we talked about before, the interpretive stuff, Klaus Park being the gateway, or basically the shoreline area plan being the eastern gateway to Lake County, and Lucerne being the gateway to the monument. But we focus on a lot of the interpretive stuff, the tribal, the cultural, the environmentally sensitive, things like that.
So I think what you're asking is, can we add another objective?
Maybe.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that would be more of an implementation, but yeah, put it in there.
What do you want to put
that would be
in?
I think it would actually.
That would be.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's doubling it up.
Economic development, I guess. Because basically we'd be capitalizing on all of the traffic that passes through that doesn't stop.
Okay, so what I added here is refer to the 2016, 2014. Oh, sorry, that's not 20. That should be 2024. A comprehensive economic development strategy, top priorities.
But there's nothing on the North Shore there.
Since we are at time.
Hang on. I'm just trying to ask you. could we add something to objective 5.1.1 that states what you just asked for?
I think it's a different one, Betsy. I think it might be down a little bit more, the tourism.
All right.
That one was on employment.
Hang on. So, community development services. Okay, policy. No, this is policy 5.1.1F. Encourage development of appropriate. Let's see, medical, wellness, recreation, other retirement-focused services. You want to put in there to develop a plan of some kind? See, I want the word retirement out of there because these things apply to all ages.
This would be, this is more of an independent policy or implementation that is the county shall work collaboratively with the municipal advisory committees to establish a program of, and then Holly can fill in the details.
So Holly,
I think I actually copied it somewhere.
Well, why don't you find the right location and add that? So I'm guessing it would be under the objective, the primary objective, right? The primary objective here is encourage comprehensive economic development efforts.
Betsy, I think I might have added it in below in 5.
In a different objective?
I think I just added it in since I didn't know how to add in, another section.
Oh, right. Okay. So right here under objective 5.1.1, under policy 5.5.1A, I see 2 things that say add.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was way down below there.
In a different objective?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, wait, here we go. Local municipal advisory councils.
No,
right.
no.
I'll keep scrolling.
Yeah,
and we'll
keep
see if we
scrolling.
get to a different objective here.
Yeah.
Where it's more appropriate.
Yeah, it may not be in an appropriate section, but I did put it in somewhere.
Okay, well, here we have objective 5.1.2, which is encourage.
Okay, there it is. Under 5.1.2, and I can't read it. D.
Well, it'll resolve in a second.
Okay, there you go.
It says commercial development and community enhancement projects aimed at drawing tourists and special events to the planning area. Do you want to add some information in that?
I put this down in P5.1.2D.
P5.1.2 D. Okay. So here I'll scroll down to that. It says add support development in the North Shore Highway 20 corridors of ecosystem destination. Add creative signage and interpretive. So does that do it for you?
No, I mean, that's just a shorter version of it. It's more like it was more like a placeholder for me.
Well, so what do you want to do? Do you want to add language?
We can.
Go ahead and add language. I mean.
Okay, what was it, Maria, that you said, working with the county to what?
County shall work collaboratively with the municipal advisory councils, or just the max, or just say the community.
What is it that you want to have done, Holly?
We want to establish and operate a program, and implement a program that highlights items of local interest, including ecological, geological, tribal,
environmentally sensitive,
environmental,
assets,
and interpretive type signage.
Hang on a second. So we want to establish programs and
Kind of like
projects.
something like that.
Here's what I've written. Establish programs and projects that highlight areas of local assets, including natural resources, public lands,
I have stuff written down. I can expand on that, but I think this is not just a little implementation, plan. I would really like us to focus on the North Shore being this.
Well, I wouldn't disagree.
Then let's use the appropriate wordage that kind of conveys the magnitude then.
Well, established programs and projects to me is at least a start. Again, I think you'll find that when you do your watershed assessments, you'll identify those priorities for programs. But no, this is an economic development thing. As a unique tourist, actually, where it says unique tourist destination, the Vision 2028 says that the desire is to promote Lake County as a premier outdoor destination.
Mm-hmm.
Could I add that in there?
Yeah, you can do that.
So as a premier outdoor destination.
That's important.
Yes, it is. Well, I'm trying to tie everything to the Vision 2028 as well. Because that's theoretically the top priorities of the Board of Supervisors. I want the general plan to help us get there. Not going to get there by 28.
I need to think about it a little bit more because I think this is a bigger type thing, and I'm perfectly happy to sit down and flesh it out. But I want highway. I would love to actually have Betsy, Upper Lake and Nice on the same board on the opposite side. But I want it to be that the shoreline area plan is the gateway. We're also the gateway to the public lands. Lucerne is the gateway to the monument. And basically,
Upper Lake is the gateway to the National Forest.
And Upper Lake is also the gateway to the to the Rodman Slough and the Middle Creek Restoration area.
Right. So how about for all Highway 20 communities?
Mm-hmm.
And this would be a special project.
Yeah, a big special project.
Yeah, huge. Okay. So,
Hey everyone, I am stepping out because I have to go prep for my next meeting. But I'm going to do that at the office, so I can leave this on if everybody wants.
Well, it's up to you guys. I do have a couple of things I need to get done today too.
Yeah, I think I think we should take a break. I mean, I've been working on this stuff since yesterday and all day today, and I want to step away from it.
So, Maria, are we going to schedule another meeting, or are we just going to roll with it?
Well, we can schedule another meeting if we need to. How about this? How about if everyone has access to this link to be able to do work on this document, Betsy? That would be ideal.
So anybody who wants to work on this document, send a request to, let's see, here's what I'm going to do is type this in here for you guys. Send a request. Ooh, what happened? Okay,
hey.
It's to LC Watershed Alliance at gmail.com. Request access to this document. Okay.
So Maria,
I'll give you action.
Maria,
Thank you,
before
Maria.
you leave, wait, Maria, before you leave, I think that we're going to need help on the design guidelines and the any special study area that's left. So I think we do need another one for sure.
In the meantime, you guys can work with the document we have right now, and you've all seen it.
Yep. So I'm
Thank you,
sharing the
Betsy.
screen now. Are you guys checking out? Can you see my calendar now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So where are we? Wednesday. I've got some time Friday morning. I know Cannabis Task Force, some of you attend that anyway, so we can't do that.
So I was going to ask if you would be amenable to maybe moving the task force to next week since we're on a deadline for this week.
Well, there is
I
one on
can't do that.
Monday.
I'm
Okay.
on just as important a deadline for that one too. So,
Okay.
but how about let's see, we've got Friday and Monday Cannabis Task Force, but Monday I've got a lot of time where I'm working on drafting the recommendations, but we can hold our meeting then during that time as well, because you guys are pretty much doing it. You're just asking me questions every so often. So I'm listening, but I can also be working on other stuff. So what day
Monday's
works
open
for everybody?
me. Monday is open for me.
Monday
all day.
morning.
Yeah.
Monday morning here is open.
Okay. Monday
9:30?
works for me.
Okay.
9:30
Monday
on
works for
Monday?
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What are we doing?
All right. Sure.
Monday.
I work.
Uh-huh.
I work on Monday. I won't be able to make it.
Who is that? Who is that?
Maria.
That's Maria.
Sorry, got hair. Got to do hair.
You said Monday 9:30, Maria?
Yeah, Monday 9:30. I'm creating the Teams meeting link right now. And who here is attending but isn't on the LAPAC email list? Because I want to make sure I include everybody. Is there anyone?
Gail.
Angela, you're in this
Gail.
one. Gail.
Oh, Gail.
Got Gail.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Donna, are you in the LAPAC?
I am. I think I'm on
Then you're
the
already
email.
included. Austin, I got you. Okay.
Is Morgan?
And Betsy.
Thank you,
Morgan.
Maria.
Oh, good thinking. Yeah, absolutely. Morgan's
Yeah.
not, but I don't have her email address. So, but
Okay.
they're finding it.
Do y'all see
And
what I
also
just
Ruby.
added here?
I do, Betsy. That's amazing. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you for all you did.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Maria, you're going to add the link to the Lake County website calendar page.
No, Ruby
Right?
is. But yeah.
Well, I don't
I hear
know who you order to do it. It's your job. Okay.
You got that.
All right.
All right.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
9:30 to 11.
So,
There.
okay.
Ruby knows to do it. So when she sees it, yes, we will get it done. We, the universal we. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Got to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Betsy.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, everybody. I'll see you on Monday.